I don't know how to explain a true opiate high to you guys, except for the best feeling you've ever felt in your life.
You never taken a pain pill?
I have. When I blew out my knee, I got. I remember this vividly because I tell the story all the time when I talk about my basketball story. So when Lifetime Fitness opened up in Centerville, we went there and the court was brand new, and we used to play at Washington Sport Club, and we used to have like games. I mean, they were like competitive games.
Mm-hmm.
So when Lifetime first opened up in Centerville, everybody that used to play at Washington Sport Club went over to Lifetime. And I remember this. I tell this story all the time to people that I talk to about playing ball. So I was checking this cat, right? Probably he's like, I'm 5'10" and a half. This cat's probably 6 foot, right? He's a point guard. He came down, and I had just gotten brand new shoes. The court was brand new, so you know how sticky that court was. It hadn't been broken in yet. And this cat came down. He pulled up, crossed me up, and he crossed me up one way, and then I jab stepped to go one way. My shoe stuck, and then my knee kept going.
Oh yeah.
So I dropped. I dropped right there. Dude looked down at me and then shot a 3 in my face. Right.
You became an
Insult to
ESPN.
injury.
He was an ESPN highlight reel.
I was
right
a
there.
meme. I was a meme before a meme was a thing. So yeah, that messed my knee up. That was done. My basketball playing days were done. But anyway, when I went, they gave me I don't even know what it was, but it was one of the pills, right? And I'll be honest with you, I took that joint and it the pain never the pain really didn't go away, but I felt some kind of way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. But that's what my problem is I felt some kind of way too. Didn't really do much for the pain.
It didn't do anything
but
for the pain.
But you know what it did do is when I took enough of them bitches, it made me so fucked up. The pain didn't matter.
You forgot about the pain.
And you know what's so funny about that? And man, I'm just thinking about that situation, because when I felt some kind of way about it, which was I was basically high, and I went to him. I'm like, yo, man, my knee is still killing me, man. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna up the prescription. Mm-hmm. He upped the prescription. Still, I was feeling nice about it. But my damn knee was still killing me.
It's not meant to take that pain away.
And then I was like, yo, all right, hold on, man. I'm just going to take some goddamn Advil. Yo, I took the Advil, my pain went away. And then I stopped taking.
Shout out to Advil, our sponsor.
And then I stopped taking I think it was Oxy. Mm-hmm. And I stopped taking it. And it was a big ass bottle. It wasn't 360 pills, but it was probably about 50 pills that I had.
I think I've had oxycodone. I think I've had Vicodin for when I had my wisdom teeth pulled out and stuff, but it just makes me sleepy. And I think this is also interesting because people's chemistry, right? Like how things affect them, and people who just have more addictive genes. It's really sad sometimes because you have no control. Like for me, it just made me sleepy, no big deal. So I move on with my day. Not because I'm a better person, I'm so strong and amazing. It's probably just because of the way I'm wired.
So we're going to talk about that real quick. And you just hit on a very, very interesting point. Looking back, all right, my pops was an alcoholic, right? Mm-hmm. And in my family, on the Prayog side of my family, we're drinkers. You know, we can throw back some liquor. So I have the addictive gene in me, right? So, and I was thinking back to what you said about, your stepdad was a drinker. Everybody, like, do you think your whole family has an addictive personality?
My whole family has an addictive personality and or mental health issues. Like they have been diagnosed either to be bipolar, manic, something of that. Or yes, they do. A lot of my
Is
family.
Everybody undiagnosed, or is everybody diagnosed?
No, a lot of people in my family, I love them, should probably be diagnosed, but they self-medicate.
They refuse to acknowledge it.
Let me tell you something. They a lot of my family shit on me and pissed on me, and told me I was the black sheep, and this and that, and blah blah blah. And now I look at these people, and I'm not saying I'm better than anybody, because I still smoke weed. But they drink every motherfucking day. So how are you going to throw shine on me when
And drink to get drunk.
And yeah, not just casually like, hey, you want to go have a beer or two? No, I'm talking about shit-faced drunk, drinking almost every day. But you want to live in a glass house and throw rocks. You know, that makes no sense to me. I don't go around and point the finger if I see them somewhere and say, oh, you know, you fucking drunk. You know, nothing like that. But they pretty much, yeah, I mean, it sucked. That's probably one of the worst feelings you can have is to go through addiction and really not have like all your family there, or even a little phone call or something, or a hey, because they are also wrapped up in addiction that they don't want to admit.
It's just a different addiction.
Exactly, but it's not an addiction to them, Haran, because they don't want to believe that they're alcoholics.
I can't think that you had no positive influences.
I gotta say, a positive influence in my life now, and in my heavy addiction and everything through then, was my mom.
Was she a positive influence back then?
Back then, my mom she wasn't a drinker, she wasn't a partier. And at one point, you know, she had to work a couple jobs because she was single. Only thing, like I say, I hold towards my mom or against my mom is the fact of the stepdad. Like, I just don't understand how that happened.
Was any of your friends a positive influence?
My friends,
Haran?
Haran
bad influence.
Haran was
Haran
ripping
was
and
a
rolling
bad
back then
influence.
too,
It
right?
was just weed, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't really drink that much, but I smoked a lot of weed.
Yeah.
But when people would go towards other drugs, like I had some friends, I would just stick to my weed and I wouldn't go down the heroin path. I know a lot of people that did go down that path, and that just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
So let's get back to the story real quick.
Yeah.
You were talking about heroin. So the pills.
Yeah.
Go from there.
Pills, so 360 of those. And I flew through those not too fast because it was the first script. It was the first time I had them. But, of course, I went back and lied. And I said, hey, you know, I don't think they're strong enough. I'm having to take more. And he said, well, you're not supposed to take more. So they did the same shit you said. They upped the dose. I was like, okay, cool. So I'm taking those. Then you start taking more of them. And then I stopped taking them for a while. And that fucking next day I woke up and I felt like I had the flu. And I was like, what the fuck? So I was like, damn, I feel sick as shit. And I didn't know what was going on. And I was having withdrawals. I was dope sick, basically opiate sick, not dope because it wasn't heroin, but that's still what they call it. I was sick because I didn't have any of the Percocets because I stopped taking them. Well, I did have them, but I stopped taking them.
You can put that on there, man.
And so I stopped taking them, and I woke up sick like that. And what's the first thing you do? I mean, I had pills. So I went and I grabbed some pills and I did some pills. But at this point, I'm snorting.
Oh, you stopped taking it like, full and started crushing
It took me 2 scripts before I was crushing them up and snorting.
That would have never occurred to me.
Oh, Tanya, honey.
Well,
I know I'm drug illiterate.
Here's a trick, too. With the oxys, now they're gel form and gel-based, so you can't break them down and inject them or snort them. But back then, all they had was a time coating on it. And all you had to do was pop it in your mouth, get a little wet, and you could wipe the coating off. And you could crush it down. You could snort it, or you could put it in water with a spoon, heat it up.
You got to watch
and
all
inject
the
it.
TV shows about. One's called Dope Sick, and it's on Netflix. There's all these TV shows.
I told you I was
You never
illiterate.
watched the one on the Purdue Family?
The who?
Then isn't there a Netflix documentary?
Oh yeah, there's a documentaries, shows based on the true story. There's so much on like opiates, but I mean I didn't do them either. I just know them from like watching stuff.
Yeah, and so basically from I was an addict, like severe addict by 22. Like by 22, I had to have those pills. I thought luckily, my knee was just fucked up, so I had to have more surgeries and rehab and this and that.
Yeah,
this
so
and
let's
that.
talk. So even this doctor, who we don't have to name or anything, but like
Mhm.
the surgery was not really successful.
No.
They're just giving you the pills. You had to get it redone.
Yes.
So you said how many surgeries total
I had 5 surgeries in 10 years.
for the same?
On the same
Wow.
leg. I've
Oh
had
my
11 in total on that leg.
Damn.
1 on my left and 2 foot surgeries. The one on my left and 2 foot surgeries were in the last year and a half. And I did that with no painkillers whatsoever. So,
Choice?
yeah, hell yeah. When I got last time I had my right knee, the surgery on my right knee, they told me it was 60-40 chance I'd go in, that I'm 60% being I might wake up without my leg from the knee down. And I wasn't even scared about that. I was scared about, because it was when I was fresh. I was fresh being sober for a while. I think I had 18, 19 months, and I was going to have that surgery. And I was more fearful of what was I going to do for the pain? What happens if they give me something in the hospital? What happens, you know what I mean? I was scared of the opiates more than I was of losing my leg.
So when did you do, because you divulged into heroin at some point, right?
Yeah, that was 35. That was a long time. I was a functioning addict at 22. I mean, I was a chef at Raised Steaks. I was a sous chef. I mean, I was working. I was doing everything. I was with my ex-wife for 12 years. We had 2 kids. I mean, everything, like, again, looked good from the outside. Everything looked great from the outside.
Raise the Stakes was great. Rest in peace.
You learned that from your stepfather.
Yeah, I did.
Images.
And it looked good. And I lie. I mean, I had the whole sheet pulled over. The wool was over my family's eyes. No one knew that I was still into these pills.
So this is all pills at this time. So
Yeah,
that's
pills.
easy to hide, right? Because you're just taking them, so
Well,
there's no track mark.
Not, I got into I started about 26. I met a buddy, and he worked at a CVS. So
Oh, very good.
he could get Oxy sometimes, but not so much. But his big thing he could get was Xanax. And that mixed with opiates is a deadly combo. I mean, they call that a cocktail. It's a benzo and an opiate. It pretty much, when you see those people on the stand doing this on the side.
Yo,
of the
we
road,
were just talking about. We were just talking about that before.
That's the cocktail. That's
Oh.
Xanax
Now we
and
know.
opiates. So I would wake up
when you're like a zombie, right?
Yeah, when you just can't function. I would wake up and my breakfast would be I would take 2 60-milligram Oxycontins, crush them up, and take 2 Xanax bars, crush them up, and I would snort it. And then I would go about my day. Now, most people would be slumped, sleeping just from that. But years of doing the opiates, my tolerance level was so high that it didn't hit me like that.
That's insane.
Were you?
I pass out from like 0.5 milligram Xanax. I'm like, night night.
You were a functioning drug addict, right?
Oh, and I'll call myself I was a drug dumpster, except for crack, meth. Well, meth at the beginning. At the end, I tried it, but crack I never tried. But yeah,
Why?
because I saw so many. That's what's funny about it to me is because I saw so many people lose shit. Remember Art? I saw that guy lose everything from smoking crack, and that always scared me. I don't know why crack always scared me, but I never looked at the heroin side of people, thinking about how they lose everything. So everyone always asks me, because that's a big thing a lot of people do is that do heroin, they'll smoke crack.
So I'm gonna ask you a question, right? Because you grew up in Falls Church, and Falls Church was a very diverse and mixed community. Everybody knew everybody, kind of thing, right? So do you think, because back then there was a stigma with crack versus pills and everything else. Crack was more of a black drug, right? Correct me if I'm
and a
wrong.
city drug, an
And a
urban
city
drug, yeah.
And then pills were like more of like a white drug.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Did you see it back then
Yeah.
ever like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
The
Absolutely.
suburban moms on their Prozac, right?
Yeah.
But I saw a fair, handful of white guys hooked on crack too, and the exact opposite. I mean, I knew quite a few black people that I party with that love Xanax.
Isn't it that way right now for meth? Meth is like more of a country.
Oh, yes,
Small town.
Appalachia.
Yeah.
Meth is
Appalachia.
definitely a white drug. I mean, you see more white people using meth for sure.
Have you ever OD'd?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and died and came back.
No, I never flatlined and like died, but I've been blue to where I had to get hit with Narcan.
Was Narcan a thing back then too?
Narcan's been a thing.
Yeah,
Or is it?
it just
Yeah.
wasn't.
Now they give it to you.
Yeah,
'cause
so I
after
had-
your surgery, right?
I had surgery on my arm. I had this cancer. It wasn't. It was benign. Benign is the word, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
it
it
was-
was a tumor. But
So I had surgery, and when I got removed, they gave me fentanyl,
Ooh.
like fentanyl with opioids in it to combine or what, I don't know, whatever.
I don't
and-
think I think it was oxy. It
They
doesn't
didn't
matter.
say fentanyl in it, and they gave me Narcan too, in case you OD'd. And I remember I took one of those pills, and holy shit, like I was feeling
That's
so good. I even
crazy,
told
yo.
Patricia, I said, you know what, I don't even want these. Give them to somebody. You ended up giving it to Kristen. You remember that?
That's crazy.
I did give them to Kristen.
And that was
Rest
like,
in peace, also.
and
Not from the drugs. She had cancer.
Well, I didn't give it in because that's illegal. I didn't give anybody anything. I take that back.
I was gonna
didn't
say,
take
don't
that.
incriminate
you edit that
yourself.
out?
Yeah, to edit. I did not give anything to anybody, but I took that pill and I was like, whoa. And I went to work and I was like, whoa, I'm feeling so good. And I was like, yeah, I'm taking this ever again.
That's
It was
crazy.
crazy.
It's
I can see
crazy.
how it's addictive.
It's crazy that they would prescribe something that you have to give something to
In
keep
case you
you
OD.
alive, to keep you alive.
I still have it in my house. Do we still have that Narcan?
That's the
Probably
thing
do.
though, is you won't die from opiate withdrawal. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, yeah?
Opiate withdrawal will not kill you.
It feels like it.
Benzo withdrawal will kill you. Alcohol withdrawal will kill you. But heroin withdrawal won't kill you. You'll be sick as a dog sometimes for 2 weeks and feel like you got hit by a truck, but you won't die.
So that's
Why-
it. So why is the benzo? I didn't actually.
Yeah, I
know
was-
that.
Benzos are like Xanax.
No, but why is
Klonopin.
the withdrawal? I mean, yeah, let's.
It gives you seizures. You can get
Seizures, yeah,
seizures.
exactly.
Ah.
Seizures, everything. So your brain, I mean,
It'll shut your brain up.
aneurysms
You can
from
have a
it, yeah.
stroke from it.
Yeah, I mean, it's
From
it's
the withdrawal-
ter-
for the
yeah,
withdrawal?
it's
No, for
terrible.
Xanax,
Yeah.
you can, but not opioids is what you're saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the like Xanax, Klonopin.
So just imagine the
shit like
cocktail.
that. So I'm putting both those things together and doing
making
it at the
it,
same
making it a
time.
cocktail.
Yo, how you fucking
He's
survive?
he's
bro?
brave. That's all I'm over here saying. He is really courageous.
You're doing great.
it-
How many times did you OD? Roughly.
Probably like 9.
And that never scared you into not doing it again?
Fuck no. You know it's even more fucked up, Haran?
Because you know
is
it's good and
The
you-
people would ask me, "Where'd you get that?"
That's what I
They'd be
heard.
going
All they
and getting
want-
a
all they
fucking
want-
bag.
because
They
they
know
want it.
that certain brand, that bag, whoever got from the dealer was so good.
Exactly. It fucked me up.
And they were like, yeah, that's crazy.
So there was I don't remember what movie I watched one time, but it was they were talking about drugs and everything. It's about when somebody tries something hard, you're always chasing that first high, and you'll never get it.
That's what I'll say about. We'll see. The thing is with opiates and heroin too is, at the end of my addiction, when we were stealing and shit, and just trying, you're waking up. You're not thinking, "How am I going to get high today?" You're actually waking up thinking, "How am I going to get well?" Because at this point in your addiction, you view so much, your tolerance is so high, you're not getting high anymore. You're simply getting well. If that makes sense.
feeling
Like,
normal.
I got-
Feel like
Feel-
just function, the ability to function.
So you
You're
don't feel like
withdrawing.
you have the flu.
You're
Because
withdrawing.
when you're not, even just the next day, like the day before,
Yes.
you start getting.
So you're just
withdrawals.
you're trying to get high to not be sick.
That's main reason you're chasing, like you say, you're chasing it. But now it's just gotten to the point where you're not chasing nothing because you can't get high.
And he's saying it happens instantly. So you get
don't
high
get well.
yesterday. If you get high yesterday and you wake up in the morning, you're starting to feel sick. And you're
I
like,
know.
I need that thing
Yeah.
to make me not get sick anymore.
I knew people that would get high and literally have to get high again 6 hours after that, or they'd go into withdrawal. That's how much dope they were using. I was using that much, but my tolerance from all
Everybody's
the
different.
years, yeah, from all the years of taking the pills, and that's what my thing is. All the years of taking the pills, I didn't try heroin until 35.
So did you ever lose your
But-
job? Were you ever on the streets? Like
I was
homeless?
not really on. I mean, I lived in my car for like a week at one point. I don't remember why. I did something, of course, but I don't remember exactly what it was. But yeah, it cost me my marriage. I lied to my ex-wife for shit the whole time I knew her.
Did she know that you were addicted?
She does now, and she did at the end
Oh,
because
but,
I came clean.
so she didn't know the whole time. I was gonna.
No.
That wasn't one of my questions. I was.
She
How long were you
thought-
married to her for?
We were married for 3 years, and we were together for 12.
Mm.
But she always thought, and I would always lie, she thought because I was bipolar, so I was on medication, a lot of medication. And she thought when I was nodding on the couch or doing a zombie in the kitchen, she thought it was because of my meds. So that
So it
gave
was
me
easy to hide.
Oh, it was an easy
And
lie.
did she work? And
Yeah, she worked. I worked. She worked, and then I couldn't work because I would just be too fucked up. I mean, honestly.
yeah.
And that's when I turned to getting rid of my pills, I'll just say.
So did she assume that you weren't working because of your bipolarism?
And my knee.
Okay.
And my knee.
So this whole time you were getting prescriptions from the doctor?
I got prescriptions for, like I said, let's see, 18 to 35.
So when
That's
it stopped,
17 years.
So when it stopped, then you couldn't get it anymore. That's when you went to
Yeah.
heroin.
And because I don't know if you know, but sometimes, well, most of the times, to get a Oxycontin on the street, it's $1 a fucking milligram, sometimes higher. So if you're getting a 60 milligram pill,
$60.
that's $60. But with my tolerance, I need 4 or 5 of them motherfuckers. One's not going to do me good.
So heroin was the
So
cheaper
you're-
option?
So you're talking about 300 for one high, or go buy, 3 books of stamps.
What's that?
All right, you got to
Stick
explain.
I know.
Yeah, help us out.
All right, it's a
Me
book.
and Pat are drug illiterate. So.
You'll buy a book at 10.
Even her on it.
I don't even know
What's
that-
a book? I don't know
It's
what
a
that is.
book of it's basically like a package
Of heroin.
and it comes with 10 stamps, individual little packages
Oh.
of heroin. So it's like 10 shots.
Oh,
in a
okay.
thing. So you get 3 of those, or you get 5, 6 pills.
How much is a book of stamp?
At the time it was like I knew a guy, so it was like $150.
And the book of stamps would last you how long?
Probably, if I got 3 books, probably I don't know, maybe that day.
Oh,
Oh.
damn.
Jesus.
How
So-
are you here? This is
Yeah.
Maybe that
Amazing.
day.
So wait, I have a
So
question.
You were going through a $300 a day addiction at one point?
Yeah, that's why I had to try to sell it, because I had to find a way to where I was only paying, like a quarter of what I was paying.
Oh, we're
That's
gonna
how
get back to
bad-
that.
Oh, there's so
Hold on,
much-
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
Sure.
So, from 18 to 35, you were on pills, right?
Oh yeah.
So, were you going to one doctor or were you going to multiple doctors?
Same doctor.
You're kidding me.
Is this cat still in business?
Yep.
Oh, damn.
So, are you getting them filled at like CVS, Walgreens? I mean, like,
Same place, and they would look at me like I was fucking nuts every time. Like, how I was getting, you got to figure that I was getting 60 milligram Oxycontins from this guy
like monthly?
for 3 years straight.
But
And does the
how
pharm-
often? Like monthly?
Every
How
month.
is this cat still in? How
Does
he
the pharmacy have to fill it? Okay.
No, they don't have to by
they
law.
don't have to, but I wasn't in there looking like a junkie.
Oh.
Or I would send my ex-wife to pick him up with my ID because they would let her do that.
I had a
Oh,
question.
because your knee was out.
Yeah.
You couldn't walk. Gotcha.
So I had a question before.
Wow.
Before when we were setting up, so there was a recent story about a woman that got shot by her ex, just got killed by her ex in Annandale, and we were asking, and I was asking, and I actually was talking to Stephanie about it. I said, man, when do women stop collecting red flags? So one of my questions is, especially with your ex-wife, like, what were the red flags that you were showing her that she was ignorant about?
Absolutely lost all motivation. Like I would go play ball every day, you know, to my limitations with my leg, or I would do stuff with the kids, or not my youngest, but the oldest at that time. Money sometimes didn't have excuses for what I used money on. I would just tell her whatever. But she kept quiet, and I'm gonna tell you why she kept quiet. And she's gonna hate me for this. Sorry, Carrie, but I was still making money off of the pills, and she liked that. Do you see what I mean?
Justified it.
She liked that because now, like when Haran just asked, the pills run out. Yeah, when the pills ran out, that's when it was a problem, because that's when money stops, and then shit gets real.
So you were selling the pills to buy heroin
I would sell half of my pills
for money and then
for
take
money.
the rest.
Because you're talking about, $60 a pill,
That is crazy to me.
and I'm getting this many a month. So I would sell 180 for them at $60 pop. You do the math.
I'm about to do that right now on my phone.
It's crazy. It's crazy to me that this dude is still in business.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you
He's still practicing.
You said 180?
and there's no reporting him to anyone.
Whoa!
What was it?
10,800.
How much?
$10,000. 10,800.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
So how do I get to this guy? I'm just kidding.
It was it was scary, but at the same time, I was so high and careless. Like I didn't care. Like at one point, it was like I would just invest in anything as far as, weed, mushrooms, whatever. Just have my hands on it, because my younger brother and my cousin would get rid of it. So it was.
So
How did this affect? I'm sorry.
I think we're about to ask the same damn question. Go ahead.
The kids?
I was just about to
Alright.
ask what the cycle of abuse. Let's talk about the cycle of abuse, because you were in that cycle of abuse.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yours somewhat was mental and physical. What was the cycle of abuse with your kids?
It was,
any.
If any, we're not assuming.
no hands, no physical. Mental, I would say most definitely, because drugs, when one person is getting high and the other person is not, that brings a lot of drama and arguments into the household. Because, for one, you're high, or whoever's high, and you don't want to deal with the shit, so you're immediately going to be negative about it, because she's fucking your buzz up or whatever. So a lot of arguments. My oldest, actually, and I hate saying this, but me and my ex-wife got into a fight one night because I was fucked up. I told her I was drunk, but I was really just high, and she wanted to take the kids to her mom's that night, and I didn't want to let her. And so I tried to grab the bag off her arm, and she went outside. So I went upstairs and I got a gun, and went outside, and I followed her outside. And for some reason, I don't know why, but I took the gun and cocked it, and I put it to my head. I told her if she left, I'd blow my head off. And my oldest son, saw that. And it still fucks me up every day that he had to witness something like that because of my addiction. And that's all that was my addiction.
How's your relationship with the kids now?
It's healing.
How old are they, first of all?
My oldest is 20 and my youngest is 14.
Okay.
My 20-year-old and I have rebuilt our relationship, I believe, now that he's older. He knows. I haven't lied to either one of my kids. They know exactly what happened.
Do you ever worry about passing down the genetics onto them?
Yes. I worry about my 14-year-old already. I mean, I don't want to get in too far into detail about my youngest, but I mean, he's just going through some stuff.
What have you been doing to try to prevent that from going down that road, like breaking the chains right now?
Just trying to. I mean, I don't know, because he looks at me. It's hard, Haran, because he looks at me like a hypocrite. You know what I mean? So a lot of times it's hard for me to talk or, I guess, discipline him for some stuff, because I'm thinking, damn, this kid knows my whole story. You know, I was a fucking junkie, this and that. Wasn't around much.
I guess the only thing you can say is, look, I don't want you to turn out to be like me.
That's what I do.
But
you know
but
what?
here's the
Don't-
tough part. He's doing okay now, and he
Yeah.
survived it. So when you're young, you're already
Yeah.
thinking you're invincible. So in some ways, it's almost like a backfire,
Yeah.
ironically, because he'll be like,
Well, you
"You're
survived.
still here. Look at your skin's
Yeah.
glowing.
You're
Dad,
you
you look great."
survived.
Yeah, but the road he had to get to from here.
Sure, but
to
at
then,
14, you know.
Yeah,
How do you
you-
explain
there's
that,
already
right?
there's already a situation when you're that young that you think that you're
Yeah,
invincible.
I mean, I didn't do any drugs
Teflon,
at 14, none
Teflon.
of that. But like, I already was just, kids are annoying, and teens are just, everything, and your friends are right, and your
Yeah.
perception's reality, and so his perception's probably like, or hers is like, Dad's okay. You made it. I'll make it.
My biggest scare for I don't think my older, because he's 20, he's making $48K a year, he's got a car. I mean, he's a good kid. My youngest, though, scares me because I know he was already smoking, but today kids don't realize, and parents and families don't realize, that these pills that these kids are buying,
Aren't the same thing.
they're pressed.
What do you mean by
They're
that?
pressed pills. People get fentanyl.
Oh, right.
They're like made in
A
China.
couple of the ingredients. Should they press them here?
Oh, really?
Yeah, they buy a press with a certain design, like so it looks like a Xanax bar, it looks like a blue 30 milligram oxy,
It's like fake
and they
pills.
press it, and it's fake. But you know what? They do put fentanyl in it,
Yeah.
but they put it in a batch, so all the fentanyl could be in 2 pills.
Oh, yeah.
See what I mean?
That's why
So
there's so many
and
people.
that's why they die off of it, because you
Exactly.
get that one
You
that's
get that bad hit from that pill that's got 2/3
Yeah,
of the fentanyl.
Because I never understood the fentanyl. I mean, like I understand what's going on with it, but to me, this is messed up. But if I'm a dealer, right, I want you to stay addicted to my product, and I want you to kind of stay alive because I want you to keep
You wanna be
buying.
You want a return customer.
I need you as a customer.
Exactly.
Yeah, a return
So
customer.
I would be careful with the fentanyl because I don't want you to OD. But so what's going on with that? If you know, like,
What's going on with the fentanyl?
like what?
As far as what?
Why do they mix it?
You know what? Because
Yes, exactly. Like, is it more addictive?
it's way more addictive. So they got people thinking, oh my God, like they're making them basically, they'll even put it in coke. That's how dumb they are. Okay. They'll put it in cocaine, which is 2 different, completely
Okay,
different levels.
So we're not looking at scientists here who are like,
No.
let's balance
You're
everything
looking
so
at-
we keep them addicted.
You're looking at 2-3 people mixing shit together.
that don't know what they're
Okay.
doing, really.
No.
They
and
just want the
there's no
money.
measurements.
Yeah.
They're just mixing shit. So they even put it in coke, okay? Cocaine you don't get withdrawals from. You just don't. You might get the sweats from it or something like that, but you're not getting like that withdrawal. So if they put that fentanyl in that, and you're only buying your cocaine from one person, you're going to be seeing them a lot more. Because now you're getting sick from that fentanyl.
Yeah.
So it's not the coke, it's the fentanyl in
It's
the coke,
fentanyl
right? Yeah.
in the coke.
I learned so much
So
today.
I know, me too.
what is all right? Dispel, if any, the narrative that, because I don't trust our government. So this whole fentanyl's coming across the border, blah blah blah. What's the truth?
It's coming from here, man. I mean, it's here.
They're cooking it up here.
Well, the things that make
There's-
fentanyl come from China through the Mexican border, allegedly.
You know what they do? They tweak one little number in the
In the chemical.
in the chemical.
Yeah.
They tweak one little number, one little letter, and then now it can get through. It couldn't get through yesterday, but they'll tweak that little number or letter, tweaks through. Then they get all the thing needed to make it,
to
and they do
manufacture.
it here.
Yeah.
So it's
So
manufacturing.
components come through the border,
Yes.
and then you can manufacture.
See, that's what I'm saying about you got to think about what the narrative is, right? Oh, we're being sent it's being made here. The ingredients are being shipped.
Yes.
But it's being manufactured here.
Yeah, so if it's just a little bit beyond a headline, right? Like, because
Yeah.
if you start to explain all the ingredients to people, who's going to read that? But yes, the ingredients come through. People, I think that's a whole other thing, border crisis. But it's like, it's not just Mexican people coming across the border. That's not the problem with the
A lot of
border.
Americans.
It's stuff. It's things.
Yeah.
It's it's people from anywhere for hitting that
And
border
that
first.
stuff, the ingredients themselves may not be illegal, right?
Yes, exactly.
So if Tom is bringing in this ingredient, Dick is bringing in another ingredient, and Jane is bringing in another ingredient,
There you go.
3 individual things are not illegal,
And they're not related.
but they get together.
And there you go.
And a lot of times the difference between the cure and the poison is the dose.
And you also got to remember, in Mexico has those pharmacies there, right? And you could buy anything in the pharmacies. You could buy anything in the pharmacies. You can get opioids. You could get
They're starting to get harder on that
they really?
as far as because the pandemic over here with the fentanyl and opiates is so bad. They're buckling down a little bit on that.
Because when we went to Tulum, the pharmacies had everything you could think of that doctors would only prescribe here.
Yeah, you'd actually when I went to Mexico, even partied back in the day, you could actually get steroids, everything at
Still
the
can.
pharmacy. Yeah, you could get that shit like
Viagra,
easy.
all that shit.
So what was your this is just great. So it's not great because it's your life. It's just very fascinating.
I'm so fascinated.
It's only great because you're here
You
to tell
survived.
about it. But what was your rock bottom, if anything, or was it kind of a slow descent out of the
She
chaos?
wants to know: did you suck dick for
Oh my God, Patrick!
This motherfucker right here. Nah.
I asked him that on Instagram or on Facebook. I was like, so.
What's the worst thing you've done for drugs?
And he was like, motherfucker.
Lord.
Okay, no.
You know I gotta be funny sometimes.
Yeah. Well. Anyway, but yeah,
I gotta beep that out.
Was there a rock bottom, or was it
Like, what's rock bottom to who and what, right?
well for his rock bottom?
I can't answer that because rock bottom is different for everybody.
So, but I guess my question is, what led you out of the darkness, right? Like, was it one single incident where you're like, "Now I got to turn it around," or was it like a slow descent?
And we
was
do
a
we know how
ascent.
long have you been clean too? Sorry, I didn't interrupt.
It'll be 7 years on the 22nd.
And then back to her question.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
And what was the question?
The question was-
Haran interrupted.
Sorry.
I know, as usual.
Sorry.
That's
Rude.
fine. He gets so mad
Still
at me.
rude.
He gets mad at me when I interrupt, and I'm just having conversation. I'm not offended because that's conversation. But anyway, the question was, and I kept using the word descent incorrectly. English is my second language.
Yeah.
Ascent from the darkness. I guess I'm looking. Was there a catalyst incident that got you to the path of sobriety, or was it like a slow process to sobriety?
It was a slow process to sobriety. I mean, I went to detox, like try to jump off the ledge and go to detox probably 16 times before I committed to going to a residential treatment center. Basically, going into detox is like an oil change. You go in there, you clean up for 10 days, they give you Suboxone, and you go on your way.
You're right back on the streets.
And you know what you do when you get those Suboxones? You go on the street and you sell them and you get dope. That's the oil change.
Cycle.
That's the oil change. And you know that they'll do it because they do it every time.
So then you went to a residential facility.
16-month residential.
Oh, so long term.
Yeah, it was 16 months called Crossroads. It's in Alexandria.
Oh, okay. Didn't know they even existed.
Yeah, basically what made me go, though, is I got to a very bad point where I was speedballing.
Oh.
Explain that.
Most people speedball with cocaine and heroin.
I've heard of.
Yeah, that I've heard.
I was doing meth and heroin.
Oh, wow.
So I was.
You take both of them together?
I would inject both of them together.
Oh my God.
Damn.
Okay, so
Straight in the
question,
main vein.
because I don't know, what is the because you sound like you're a professional in this. So is heroin a different type of drug than meth, and like how, like you said before, like one's a bend something and one's a something else.
Heroin is some shit that will have you slump like this.
So it makes you slow down.
Meth will have you up for 7 days peeking out blinds.
Oh wow.
Makes you paranoid?
Yeah, but when you mix the two, you get that immediate rush that the meth gives you, like that high, like, oh my God. And then that heroin snaps on the back end, and you just come down. But that's a dangerous
But
part.
are you alert? Like, are you like coherent?
After about 30, 40 seconds, yeah. You're
Oh,
good.
okay. So it doesn't like take. Okay.
It's like
No.
it's like being on uppers and
Yeah.
downers at the same
It's
exact
like
time.
you wait for that shift.
Well, does it
Oh
flow?
my God, that sounds
Does it flow
awful.
throughout the time period? I don't know how to.
Let me tell you, I don't, like I said, I can't describe the feeling of injecting not just heroin, but especially that combined drug. That's what made me go.
How long does that? How long
Rehab.
does that high last? Like hours or like minutes? I don't know.
Hours, but when you're a junkie and you're addicted,
You need it sooner.
you need it sooner.
Oh.
Because you want to get back to that rush you just got across your chest.
That only lasted for
'Cause
30
it's
seconds.
literally, it feels like someone shoved ice and it just ran across the whole top of your body.
So you know what I'm curious about, man, and because there's so many people that struggle silently. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And there's probably people that are addicted in most people's families, and they have no idea. And what's interesting to me is that you were such a functioning drug addict, hid it from your wife for so long. It's like, tell the people, man, what do you need to look out for? What are the signs that you need to look out for when somebody is using, you know, I don't know if you want to go down the list, like, you know,
Sure.
if they're using this one, you need to see this. I mean, give the family members that might be listening to this podcast that are thinking there might be something wrong with their loved ones, that they just have no idea, but you know, they're fucked up.
Yeah. First thing you look for, honestly, is loss of motivation. I mean, you can see that instantly. A person, say you got a happy-go-lucky person, and all of a sudden, they're just not themselves. They're down. Like, they're down out. They got no reason for you why. You know, just to keep telling you they're having a bad day or this and that. Arguments over money. You know, that's a big one. I mean, because you can try to lie about money. You can say you spent it on this. Oh, I had to get $60 and do this. You can lie